The EU and Canada are currently aligned in energy policy. Right now, both countries are rejecting historical and global powers, Russia and the United States. This twin rejection is a result of liquefied natural gas, the potential production and export of it in Canada. Canada is the 5th largest producer of liquefied natural gas, and it's the 7th largest exporter in the entire world. But right now, it has one single customer, the United States. Liquefied natural gas is meant to serve as like an energy transition between renewable energy and fossil fuels. It is much more eco-friendly than oil and coal. What does Canada currently have in terms of LNG? Right now, on the west coast, Canada has one operating LNG facility. It's set to ship out its first cargo to Japan this July. There's also 2 smaller projects under construction, Cedar and Woodfibre LNG. These are both one of the first industrial projects to include Indigenous people and their governments to create these new pipelines. This has set a huge precedent for Canada to be successful in its LNG markets and expanding its trade networks. This has set up the Atlantic coast to want to do the same. There is currently unused LNG facilities that energy policymakers want to use and operate. But there's some change going on. Throughout Canada's last election cycle, when Justin Trudeau was our Prime Minister, there had been a lot of rejection. Justin Trudeau never liked the ideas of pipeline expansion. This was specifically contested because Justin Trudeau said that it wasn't viable for Canada 2 years ago. Global Affairs Canada gave Justin Trudeau a briefing note that was discovered by The Logic. This briefing note stated that LNG would be beneficial for European and Canadian relations, but Trudeau shut this down. There's been a lot of backlash to start new pipelines by the oppositional governments, particularly Pierre Poilievre. This has been highlighted during Canada's current election season.
Our economy is weaker than ever before. It's been the worst growth in the G7. We've lost $500 billion of investment south of the border. You supported blocking pipelines in Canada that gave Donald Trump and the U.S. a near monopoly over our energy. And now you want to keep in place Bill C-69, the liberal no new development law that blocks us from shipping our resources overseas. How could you possibly think it's a good idea to give the Americans a continued monopoly on our energy projects when you have seen how much these liberal policies have weakened our country?
There's been a lot of debate over whether these LNG pipelines could ever be successful in Canada. Akeem Hurlman, Carleton University professor and researcher on EU and Canada relations, has said that this might be a little far out there.
To really trade LNG with Europe, Canada would have to invest in infrastructure, essentially pipelines and ports and so on. That's the main reason why we haven't really heard more about LNG exports. Europeans see this more as a transitional thing and are not really willing to make big investments that would materialize in, say, 5 to 8 years if they think in 10 to 15 years maybe they won't need this technology anymore.
There is desire for EU and Canada to have this relationship, especially because there's these contesting powers. In 2022, when the Russia-Ukraine war started, most of Europeans' natural gas supply came from Russia. They discontinued this relationship to help support Ukraine, but now they need a new energy supply. But previously, Trudeau's relationship shut this down. With Carney now in the picture, this could all change. Both Canada and the EU have been facing major turmoil because of the United States government and Trump's tariffs. This has caused them to turn to each other and start this whole energy trade deliberation. Canada wants to expand its natural gas market, and the EU wants this too, especially because they're both separating from unreliable and unstable historic global powers. With growing success of LNGs in the West Coast, increased demand coming from the Atlantic provinces as well as the EU for trade, we have a question. Will there be enough demand to power this LNG craze?